What's up, everybody? So I got a couple questions about the founder shares that we're waiting to put in. Remember, I said that it will require us to have sites. So right now, the depository in Washington that went in, the individual that actually put that in is a shareholder. So once that depository is fully functional, their shares will be recorded in their depository. Okay? Putting them privately on the land. Does that make sense? And that's where the shares have to be held so that they build out the American People's Public Trust, which is APPT. All right? And by having those shares deposited around the nation, they activate that public trust jurisdiction, that private public trust jurisdiction. So I had said we're going to need a new court order because we're under a court order, and that's how it's got to happen. All right. If you want those shares to be private, they have to be private. They have to be deposited somewhere and recorded, and then the certificates go out. Okay. So that's part of the vault process because you got to have a place to record them. You just want a piece of paper that means nothing, then you did nothing. And that's not what this organization's about. Secondly, on a great note, everyone's seen that they're sending an envoy to Greenland, who is the governor of, and Trump actually mentioned the Louisiana Purchase. He also didn't mention that the Battle of New Orleans is the battle of 1812 with Andrew Jackson and the British. And the town of New Orleans, and the town of New Orleans, right? Not the city of New Orleans, the town of New Orleans, right? So, Greenland is neutral territory owned by the Kingdom of Denmark, not for very long. And there is a correlation between Greenland and the Monroe Doctrine and the War of 1812. So, there's no surprise that that's happening. Third, the battleships. So if everybody saw the announcement and they saw all that stuff about the battleships, there was a key word, a key jurisdictional word that Donald Trump used, and the word was surface. He said that they would be on the surface. It doesn't make them on the sea. It makes them on the surface. You know what else is on the surface? When you execute an oil lease from a property owner, you understand that oil lease is on the surface? Yeah, surface lease. That's what they call it. Under the Department of Interior. It's called a surface lease. So, they're talking about these letters of marque and mark and stuff like that, and the seizing of property, and they're using the word cartel. Remember a long time ago that I said that people, civilian, public officers, judges that collaborate together to commit crimes, fraud, waste, and abuse, when there's more than one and they conspire, that's considered a cartel? The letters of marque are for them. That's right. So the surface lease, the letters of marque, the stuff going on in Florida. So, when you do the background check on my Bachelor of Laws that I've talked about, I mentioned this a few times, I have a Bachelor of Laws in Constitutional Criminal Prosecution. That's right. That means that I can prosecute civilian employees, public personas, and public officers once the courts are operational under constitutional law. That means like civil judges, deputies, public officers, commissioners, and anybody that conspired with them. Anybody that's an officer, a part of an NGO like the International Association of Firefighters, Florida Firefighters Association, anybody that conspired with them, like members of the American Bar Association, their attorneys. Constitutional criminal prosecution is not civil criminal prosecution. But you're going to have constitutional criminal prosecutors. And they will need a letter of marque because they are the mark on the surface. So just so you know, just to add to it, the land, the property is the surface, is basically what's above. So you put a building on it, whatever, that's property if you don't have it attached to the ground, or if you don't have it in the right jurisdiction below the ground, like they brought sand in. The first 2 feet is considered the soil. So that's the law of the soil. The 2 to 6 feet is considered the land. And anything below 6 feet is considered ground. Okay? But when you're on the surface, well, that's a whole different ballgame. And those battleship trusts, those Trump battleship trusts are on the surface. So we are getting very close to letters of marque and domestic cartels. And I don't mean drug cartels. I mean fraud, waste, abuse, lying dumpsters of garbage like the former civil judge, Mary Evans, and her conspiring fellow American Bar Association members, and the 19 individuals that conspired with the International Association of Firefighters and Florida firefighters that are all on the same email collaborating. And it says that you're allowed to seize their property. You are damn right. They won't even own property. They won't even have the power to own property, which means they'll have to be remanded to a community restrained colony, never to own property again when this is over. It's going to be biblical, and it is damn sure going to be the sword of American justice, whether it gets cut by the blade or the broadside. So, for all of you that are waiting for justice to be served, Merry Christmas. For all of you that are watching and your pucker factor is tingling, enjoy your Christmas. This may be the last one where you have some semblance of social civil structure. All debts will be paid. This is going to be awesome. So, welcome to the surface. Welcome to the Trump fleet and the battleships return. Welcome to constitutional criminal prosecutions in America. This is awesome. Catch you on the flip side.